Here's Ray in Maryland. Hey, Ray, what's going on?
Hey now, Eddie. How's it going, man?
Good.
Um, just a quick reminder before I get to why I called in. I had called in about a show theme a few weeks ago, worst concert experience. I still think that would spawn a lot of good stories, and we'd have a lot of good laughs for the couple of hours of Trunk Nation. I just think it would be
Let's
really
hold
good.
on, Ray. Hold that thought right there. Hold that thought right there. Let me see. I don't know. I'm thinking I can almost do that tomorrow.
Let's do it.
I love
brother.
that. I can almost do it.
I
Now, the
think it would
only.
spawn some of those classic stories.
Oh, yeah. Just like Brush with Greatness is still causing people with great stories dropping by and coming on the air. But the only reason why I'm hesitant is because I texted Tom Kiefer about coming on tomorrow, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it or not. I could always move him maybe. So
Let's move Tom Kiefer for me. That's right.
all right, here's the deal. So the text is out to Kiefer. If he gets back to me by the time the show ends and says he can do it, then we'll hold on that. But if he doesn't respond by just before 5 Eastern, then we will go with your idea for tomorrow, and we'll move Tom to another date.
Cool deal. Thank you, Eddie. The reason I'm calling in is that I think it was the singer. It was a member of the band The Butcher Babies, who I know you're aware of, had put out a tweet that all their gear went down. I don't know if it was last night or the night before at their show. So they had to play the rest of the show with no click tracks and backing stuff. So we did it old school. So I deserved this shot of Jägermeister, and she was sitting there with a bottle of Jägermeister. So we just fed off the energy of the crowd. But it further validates what you're saying, is that if people keep accepting this, like you'd almost think you'd be ashamed to say that. It was put out like like she was proud of it because the laptops went down, or the internet, or whatever they were doing. Probably not internet, but. And then, she's putting out there that, so we did it old school, like punk rock style, and fed off the energy of the crowd. And it, like I said, further validates what you've been saying. If people keep accepting it, and they're not even ashamed of it, it's become the norm. It's crazy to me.
Well, that's just it, Ray. You hit the word on the head. Acceptance. I mean, that's where we're at with all of this right now, which to me is the scariest thing in the world. Is like now there's like transparency about it. Again, whether it's, Doc McGee saying, oh, yeah, Paul's doing it, or whether it's Blackie on this show just a couple weeks ago. Yeah, well, I do it because I want it to sound like the record, or whether it's bands canceling because their computers weren't there, or bands like wanting an attaboy because they actually played live. I mean, that's where we're at. And that's exactly what happened in pop music. There was outrage. And now it's just like, oh yeah, it's mass acceptance. Yeah, it's cool to go pay money and go hear a computer. It's insane if people don't see how dangerous this is. But again, you still got people like, hey, I don't care. I'm going out and buying the tickets. Oh man, they were great. I'm still going. Well, I don't know what was great, what exactly we're hearing that was live, but that we're pretty much there, like you just pointed out, Ray. And if that continues and nobody else seems to care. Over. Like I've been saying, it's over. It's over. No one
You're
is
exactly
going to play
right.
live. It's over. I think of all the time when Sebastian Bach, who's on this same train as I am with this, and he says to me all the time, he's like, I watch him like screaming his head off to get ready to get on stage and what he's putting into getting out there to do the shows. And thanks, Ray. And then he'll like, I forget where it was, a couple years ago, show in LA or something. He turned around and he goes, why am I doing this? Because what? He goes, if nobody cares, and I can just put a track and sing to the track, and everyone, and I don't have to kill my voice every night. Why am I doing this? I mean, the whole idea of going to see Sebastian Bach, in theory, is to hear him sing. He's a singer, right? And thank God he hasn't caved to it. But do you understand his point? Like, if there's this mass acceptance to this, from promoters and fans and, yeah, whatever. Why? Why would he do that to himself? Just go out and lip sync it. Just go out and put all that gear and all that effect on your vocal and pretend like, just We are the youth gone wild. And it's going to sound out to the crowd just like the record. Why kill yourself? Just fleece everybody like everyone else is doing. It's madness. It's madness. And that's why I'm so glad when people like, Wolfgang or others, because I can't be the only one on the soapbox, but the artist, Sebastian's another one, the artists who are actually doing it live. And again, thankfully, there's still a good amount, Sebastian's old band, Skid Row, totally live. They should get that credit too, Alter Bridge, Mammoth, Hailstorm, you can go on and on. There thankfully are still that believe that they're charging their audience to hear them play live, and they should absolutely do so. But there's others that now there's transparency about it, and why not? Yeah, we don't care. Look, I don't know. Actually, the band, the Butcher Babies, I know Carla, the one singer, because she dates Charlie Benanti. And I know I just met the other singer because she lives in Vegas, both very nice women. And she was at a jam, and she got up and sang at a jam that I hosted in Vegas at the Copa Room a few weeks ago. And I met her, and I don't know if it was her husband or boyfriend, very nice people. We talked. It was funny because I was talking to them, and she said, and I don't know what they do with or without tracks. I really don't. I have no clue. I've seen that band, but I am not a fan of that screaming vocal stuff, which was funny because when she met me, she said, "Oh yeah, I sing in the Butcher Babies." I go, "Oh yeah, I know Carla." And she said, "Yeah." She goes, and she laughed. She goes, "I know." She goes, "You don't like the Cookie Monster stuff." And I said, "Yeah, you're right. I don't." But good for you. There's plenty of people that do. People don't have to please me. But she was very good natured about it. It was funny. But again, and you got to be careful because some of these bands, I don't have a problem with what they're doing. If it's just some effects or some stuff in the songs, I get it. Can't stress that enough. And kudos to them that they must not be doing anything to an extreme that they could actually play without that stuff. But in so many of the cases, it's just not necessary. But it's this security blanket that so many of these artists feel they need, and it's just so over the top now. It really is. I can't wait for the Milli Vanilli doc. I talked about that the other day. And yes, I was barraged with emails. I forgot and didn't realize that one of those guys passed away. I'm aware of that now. But the surviving member, I hope he feels some vindication. He really should. I don't know those guys at all, but I would. And by the way, I would interview that guy. If he does press for the doc, even though that music is nothing to do with what we're about, if that guy, I don't know which one is the surviving member, but when they start doing press and that documentary comes out, if he wants to come on this show, I will have him on in a second. Not to talk about his music, but talk about what's going on now in pop music and what they got destroyed for. Again, their situation's a little different, though, because they didn't even sing on the actual studio recordings. But then again, half of these pop artists have so many guest singers and so many effects on their voice. Who knows what they're even really doing in the studio now? They should still feel some sort of vindication. Not that any of it's right.